Hi everyone, today we are in part 3 out of 5, so we're kind of in the middle for the subject of basic manners here in Korea. And today we will cover relationship determination and how to address people. Without further ado, let's get started. First, I think it's important for us to understand why relationships is so important in the Korean culture. And that is because Korean culture is heavily based on Confucianism. And in Confucius' philosophy, the pillars, the real core of the philosophy, he's talking about harmony, social order, hierarchy, and relationships. And he actually defines the types of relationship that we have in the world. And he believed that every relationship in the world can be one of those relationships. So let's take a quick pause and see what we're talking about. This is Confucius, Korean Confucius, and he's playing on a traditional Korean harp. It's very nice. So the first relationship we are talking about is king and subject, a ruler and its subject. The second is elder and younger. The third is a husband and wife. After that is a parent and child. And last is a friend and a friend, between friends. And between friends, this is the only relationship that we don't have any type of hierarchy. The other four has specific hierarchy, and each of the parts has their own roles and responsibilities. And this is why it's so important in Korean culture to determine the relationship, because we want to know how we need to behave. Do we need to speak in a formal speech, in informal speech? Do we need to make our formal manners, or can we be more friendly in our manners? So those type of questions we can determine by knowing the relationship. If we're taking the relationships into, let's say, our modern company, then a relationship between a CEO and an employee can be regarded as a ruler and a subject. Or a manager and an employee can be also seen as a ruler and a subject. How about between teammates? Maybe between teammates we can see them as friends, or maybe elder and younger. So in order to answer those kind of questions, we really need to determine the relationship. And how do we do it? It's done by asking more questions. Questions can be something like age, title, what's your profession, what is your education, where did you go to school? And this is considered as polite way to get to know each other. So this practice or asking those questions, it is not done with any harmful meaning, but literally just to get to know each other and to get information. And also, it is also done to try and find some common things between each other. So it will feel a little bit closer. After processing the information, we can assess the relationship and act accordingly. So when we say acting accordingly, we're talking about a different speech or a different behavior. So if everyone remember, last couple of classes we were talking about bow and the way we support our hand to give something. If our relationship is very hierarchical, then we will have to keep the full formalities. However, if we're friends or we're same age or we have some more friendly relationship, then we don't have to keep the full formalities. On that note, usually the relations that are determined at a certain point, they're not changing a lot. The status will not change. If I am older than someone, I will probably always be older than them. Teacher and student. A lot of students, they keep calling their teacher Sam or 선생님, even though they are no longer students. And maybe this person is no longer teaching. But throughout their life, they will keep calling this person as teacher, teacher, teacher. So a very drastic change of status in order to change the relationship. Let's say I was a student, but now I'm a CEO, and my teacher is now my client. Then it's completely different. The status is completely different. But still in my mind, this person is always a teacher, and I am a student. So the new status of our relationship will be combined with those two. And that's very interesting to see here in Korea how the relationship are changing if they're changing at all. A quick tip from me to you again is please don't take these questions as personal or an insult. And if you don't want to answer it, that's fine, but they're not asked as in any bad intention. Moving on to addressing people. So now we know the relationship. We know how to address them. Are they our friends? And then we can speak non-formal. Are they our elders? And then we have to speak very formal. Is this person in front of me, is he my manager? And then I have to act in certain ways. So we have different ways to address people when we call them. And usually in Korea, we do not use the actual name. We use someone's profession title, like manager, CEO, or we use some age-related titles, or even family-related titles. So to give you a quick example, let's say I'm a CEO of my company and I'm meeting somebody and they will call me 대표님. It's one word for CEO, 대표님. Or even in a restaurant, you can go in a restaurant and you can hear people say 이모. And 이모 means aunt. She's not really their aunt, but we want to address people based on the relationship. So if I am a CEO, I want people to address me as a CEO in a business title. But if I'm in a restaurant, we are more casual, it's closer, we can call each other in more close ways. Names are usually used only with friends and family. So someone's name is not used a lot. In the workplace, we would like to address people with their titles, with their level titles, and attaching the word 님, which is a respective form to attach someone's name or profession or title. And we would also like to include their last name. So Korean's last name is always come in the beginning. So if, for example, my name is Mayan Kim, in Korea I will be Kim Mayan. And let's say I'm a CEO and the word for CEO is 대표, then the full correct way to call me would be Kim 대표님. Kim as my last name, 대표 as the meaning of CEO, and 님 as the show of respect. And that would be the formal way to call me in the company. Let's take a quick pause again and see a little bit of the titles that we can use. So basically in a company, one form of title is seniority-based title. And that can be, tada! So employee is the lowest level, is pronounced 사원. Assistant manager is 대리. Manager is 과장. Deputy general manager will be 차장. General manager will be 부장. And a team leader will be 팀장. So how would I call my general manager if his name is Joe Park? Do you have it? Did you get the answer? I would call him 박 부장님. 박 부장님. And that would be the full formal way to call him. Did you get it right? I hope you did. Let's look at another set of titles. And these titles are executive level related. So we have a director level is 이사, senior director is 상무, VP is 전무, and CEO can be 사장, 대표. Those are the common titles that you should know. Now you're set with the basic titles. As always, I would like to give you some tip, and that is when you're confused, when you have a doubt, when you're not sure what to call the other side, you can always use the title 선생님, which means a teacher. It literally means a teacher, but it's a very general title. And sometimes even people will call you 선생님 because they are not sure how to call you. So it goes both ways, and it's usually used only by non-Koreans because usually Koreans will use an actual title. Even if they're not sure, they will use some similar title or they will guess some title. But for non-Koreans, it's very common to use the word 선생님. So feel free to use it when you're not sure. And that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot. You can go ahead and practice those titles, and I will see you next time.